Everything was red. The world had been dyed crimson with blood. He breathed heavily, a sword lodged deep in his shoulder. As he looked around, all he could see was death. Corpses covered the battlefield. The air itself reeked of blood and despair. For what reason had so much bloodshed been necessary? He turned his head and saw the bodies of his comrades. His elder brother, his martial uncles, the brothers who had fought beside him. Everyone had left him behind. Everywhere he looked, there was nothing but the dead. More than 20 sects had gathered for this battle, including the 10 great sects. The ultimate military force, formed from the greatest elites of the martial world, had clashed against the heavenly demons, only to meet complete annihilation. And whose fault was it? He bit down on his lip until blood trickled from the corner of his mouth. Then he looked ahead. A man sat atop a mountain of corpses, swords piercing his body from every direction. The demons from the skies, the devilish horde that had drowned the world in bloodshed, all had followed this one man, the leader of the Heavenly Demon Sect, Chun Ma, the Heavenly Demon. With a cold breath, the Heavenly Demon called out to him. So, the last disciple of Mount Hua still stands. How unfortunate. Yet the man rose once more. One of his limbs was gone, his body broken beyond repair, but still he stood. Blood poured from his lips as he staggered forward. Chun Ma spoke calmly. If only you could leave this place alive, you would have spent the rest of your life boasting of the glory of killing me. But it seems this is where both you and I shall meet our end. Shut up, the man growled. But the Heavenly Demon continued. You have every right to say that. Be proud of yourself. Though countless people aided you, your sword was the one that finally reached my body. He laughed weakly, blood spilling from his mouth. In the name of Chun Ma, I acknowledge you. I recognize the swordsmanship of the Mount Hua Sect as the greatest under heaven. The man ripped the sword from his shoulder and raised it once more. I said, shut up. With a roar, he lunged forward. In his final moments, Chun Ma smiled. If I had been granted just one more day, I would have truly become worthy of the name Chun Ma. But perhaps this too is destiny. His eyes darkened. Remember this, disciple of Mount Hua. This is not the end. The demons will return. And when they do, the world shall fall into their hands. No one will be able to stop them. The man did not hesitate. His sword flashed through the air. The Heavenly Demon's head fell to the ground. And just like that, the monster who had plunged the Central Plains into terror was no more. The war was over, but death was already approaching him. He slowly turned back toward the battlefield. Every single member of the Mount Hua Sect had died in this place. Even the followers and disciples who had accompanied them were gone. Only powerless children remained behind. Was all this sacrifice truly meaningful? A bitter thought surfaced in his mind. If only I had trained harder. If only I had been stronger. Could I have saved even one more life? Everything felt meaningless. All of it. The Plum Blossom Sword Saint, Chung Myung. After slaying Chun Ma, the man who had brought destruction and misery upon the world, he drew his final breath atop the mountain headquarters of the Heavenly Demon Sect. That short tale became the only legacy he left behind in this world. And as death embraced him, memories began to surface. His past, his childhood, his life within Mount Hua. Everything flashed before his eyes. Though he had been called a genius, though he had received praise for his talent, he had never truly followed the teachings of his sect. Beneath all the admiration, he had merely been an arrogant rookie of Mount Hua. Why had he not realized it back then? Everything he was had come from Mount Hua. Then he remembered his master's voice. Do you regret your past? A faint smile formed on his lips. Yes, now I understand. I truly regret it. If only I had devoted myself more to the teachings of Mount Hua. If only I had become even slightly stronger, perhaps I could have changed this terrible ending. But in his fading memories, his master's voice answered him once more. There is no need for regret. Mount Hua will endure. No matter what happens, there will always be Mount Hua. His head was struck by a stick. Chun Myung, a voice rang out as pain shot through him. He opened his eyes in confusion. Wasn't he dead? Why was he being beaten again? A boy stood in front of him, dressed in ragged clothes, a bamboo stick resting on his shoulder. He looked down at him with open annoyance. "Who are you?" the boy asked Chun Myung. "That's a hell of a sleep talk you're doing, you bum. Everyone's already gone to bed. What gives you the nerve to sleep in so late?" Chun Myung still couldn't understand what was happening. That brat is threatening me? He tried to make sense of it, but nothing added up. The boy was clearly just a street kid, but he was acting as if he had no fear at all. And then he laughed. That laugh irritated Chun Myung deeply. "I am Chun Myung, the Plum Blossom Sword Saint. Even the leader of the Beggars' Union treated me with respect. And yet this little brat..." Before he could finish his thought, the stick came down again. He raised his hand to block, but his body reacted strangely. Too slow, too weak. His arm was short. "Why is my hand so small?" The strike landed again, and again. Pain exploded through his body as he stumbled backward. "Stop!" he tried to say, but it was already too late. Later, he found himself near a pond, washing his face. His whole body ached. "Damn bum brat. I've never been beaten this badly. Not even in the Mount Hua Sect." He gritted his teeth, frustration boiling inside him. "If I ever get the chance, I'll make sure the Beggars' Union pays for this." But when he looked into the water, he froze. The reflection staring back at him was not his face. It was a child. Small, weak, helpless. He stared at it, unable to process what he was seeing. "Who is this?" He touched his face. The reflection moved the same way. Reality did not change. A cold thought crept into his mind. Reincarnation? Like the Buddhist teachings speak of? Before he could think further, someone called out to him. It was another boy from earlier, another ragged beggar brat. "You all right?" Wang Chu always acts like that, but today he went too far. Chun Myung grabbed him immediately. "2 questions." The boy blinked. "Huh. First, do you read?" "What? You're a beggar, right? It's obvious from your clothes." The boy frowned. "What are you talking about? Of course I'm a beggar." Chun Myung ignored him and continued, voice sharp. "Second question. Chun Ma. Do you know who Chun Ma is?" The boy clicked his tongue. "I thought you were just beaten up, but you're really out of it, huh?" Then he answered casually. "Chun Ma? Isn't that the leader of the Heavenly Demon Sect who died 100 years ago?" Chun Myung's breath caught. "What? 100 years?" He grabbed the boy's collar. "Say that again. 100 years since Chun Ma died." The boy shrugged. "Why would I lie about that?" Chun Myung slowly let go. 100 years. He stood there, stunned. "I didn't just die. I was left behind. 100 years?" His mind struggled to accept it. Then, Mount Hua Sect. He turned quickly. "What happened to the Mount Hua Sect?" The boy frowned. "What's that?" Chun Myung froze again. "What do you mean, what's that?" The boy scratched his head. "I mean, I don't know it." Chun Myung's voice rose. "You're a beggar, right? Part of the Beggars' Union." "Yes. And you don't know Mount Hua Sect?" The boy looked at him like he was insane. "The 10 great sects are Shaolin, Wudong, Kongtong, Qingcheng, Kunlun, Southern Edge Sect, Lotus Order, Ashen Sect, Southern Island Sect, and the Beggars' Union." He paused. "No Mount Hua Sect in there." Chun Myung stood completely still, as if the world itself had stopped making sense. "Not in the 10 great sects? How is that possible?" Chung Myung couldn't believe what he was hearing. The Southern Island Sect became one of the 10 great sects? Those island weirdos? He shouted. "Then what happened to the Mount Hua Sect?" The beggar boy, after being violently shaken for the 3rd time that day, stuttered nervously. I think I heard the name somewhere in Shaanxi province. But as far as I know, Mount Hua already fell a long time ago." Chung Myung froze. "Impossible. The Mount Hua Sect, one of the 3 greatest sects alongside Wudong and the Northern Loyal family, had fallen? No, I refuse to believe that." He released the boy and clenched his fists. "I'll see it with my own eyes." Then he suddenly turned back. "One more thing. What's this body's name?" The boy blinked. How would a beggar have a name? We just call each other whatever. Then how old is this body? How would a beggar know his age? Chung Myung sighed and looked at his tiny arms. Judging by the skin, around 15 or 16. Then he remembered something else. That brat who hit me earlier. What was his name? Wang Chu. Chung Myung narrowed his eyes dramatically. Listen carefully. I repay kindness twofold, and grudges tenfold. Remember the name Chung Myung of Mount Hua. Next time we meet, I'll repay today's favor personally. He turned around and walked off proudly. Then, a few seconds later, he came back awkwardly. Which way is Shaanxi province? The beggar boy stared at him in disbelief. Later, Chung Myung could be seen running down the road toward Mount Hua. Well, running might have been an exaggeration. In his previous life, he hated riding horses because they were too slow. Yet now, after running for only a few minutes, he collapsed flat on the ground, gasping for air. What kind of trash body is this? He lay there like a dying fish. At this rate, I'll die again before reaching Mount Hua. But then suddenly he grinned, because he was Chung Myung, the legendary Plum Blossom Sword Saint. And for the great Chung Myung, nothing was impossible. I just need to retrain my martial arts from the beginning. His eyes sparkled with excitement. Those old monsters at the peak of martial arts always regretted not mastering the basics when they were young. He nodded seriously. They also regretted ignoring their masters when told to train. A pause. And getting caught drinking the liquor their senior brothers hid away. He smacked his lips. Still tasted amazing, though. Chung Myung chuckled to himself and sat beneath a nearby tree. A second life, huh? This time, he planned to do things properly. Chung Myung took a deep breath and calmed himself. After all, he possessed something no one else in the world had. Inside his head existed countless advanced martial arts theories. Every technique in the history of the Mount Hua Sect was engraved into his memory. Not just Mount Hua's techniques either, he knew numerous inner chi cultivation arts from across the martial world. With knowledge like that, growing stronger again would only be a matter of time. Among all those legendary techniques, however, the very first thing he chose to relearn was something most people mocked: equilibrium arts. To ordinary martial artists, it was a cheap technique sold in shady street markets for a few coins. A useless beginner manual. But Chung Myung knew the truth. This was originally one of the foundational arts of the Mount Hua Sect. Every disciple started with it. It didn't dramatically increase inner chi, nor did it grant overwhelming power. Instead, it purified the body completely. Perfect foundation. There's no need to rush, Chung Myung muttered. To build a great tower, the foundation must come first. Slowly, he circulated the energy around him, carefully cleansing every trace of impurity like untangling tiny threads in a massive cloth, strand by strand. Hours later, he finally succeeded. Every bit of impure energy had been purified and gathered neatly into his dantian. Chung Myung smiled proudly. The foundation had been built. A tiny spark of energy today would someday become a massive avalanche no one could stop. Satisfied, he stood up confidently. All right, time to head to Mount Hua. He took exactly 3 steps before collapsing face first onto the ground. Right? Equilibrium arts strengthened the foundation, not the legs. From somewhere in his memories, he could almost hear his master laughing. You really do forget to use your brain sometimes. Chung Myung gritted his teeth in irritation. At this rate, how the hell am I supposed to get to Mount Hua? The nearby market was bustling with people when a beggar suddenly came running toward a group of older beggars. Boss, there's some rookie beggar over there stealing all our money. What? He's just a kid. But he looks so pitiful that everyone keeps giving him coins. The leader immediately stood up. Let's go teach the brat a lesson. The 3 beggars marched over and soon found the culprit. Chung Myung. He was peacefully eating dumplings. Hey, brat! One of them shouted. Are you deaf? Chung Myung slowly turned around. You talking to me? The beggars frowned at his attitude. You don't have permission to beg here? The leader warned while cracking his knuckles. Since you're young, we'll let you off easy. Leave all your money and get lost. Chung Myung looked down at the dumpling in his hand. You bums are unbelievable. The beggars twitched. You're seriously trying to take food from someone who's already eating? The 3 of them became furious after being called bums by a child. Meanwhile, Chung Myung calmly stood up and stretched. He could feel it now. His energy had recovered, and his dantian was functioning properly again. All right, This should be enough. He pointed at them confidently. Come at me all at once. The beggars blinked. Since I'm still weak, I can't hit very hard yet, Chung Myung added casually. So try not to cry too much after getting beaten. That was the final straw. The three lunged at him together, only for Chung Myung to dodge effortlessly. Punch, punch, punch. One by one, the beggars collapsed onto the ground. Standing proudly over them, Chung Myung brushed off his sleeves. I am Chung Myung, the Plum Blossom Sword Saint of the Mount Hua Sect. A few moments later, the three beggars sat in front of him with bruised faces. Chief, please forgive us. Don't call me Chief. Yes, Chief Beggar. Punch. I said don't call me a beggar. Sorry. Chung Myung sighed and decided to ask something important. Anyway, do any of you know the fastest way to Shaanxi province? The beggars looked at each other. Shaanxi? That's easy. Chung Myung's eyes sparkled. Oh, you actually know? Of course not, the beggar replied proudly. Why would beggars know something like that? Silence. Then both of them started laughing awkwardly. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Suddenly, Chung Myung grabbed the man by the collar. Listen carefully. If we ever meet again and I ask you something, you better know the answer if you don't want to die. That's unreasonable. Now scram. The three beggars ran away crying. Far away, among the misty mountains, stood the Mount Hua Sect. Inside, the sect leader quietly stared out the window when someone entered the room. Sect leader, what is it? It's nothing important. But there's a child outside insisting on meeting you. A child? The sect leader frowned and stepped outside. Standing there in ragged clothes was none other than Chung Myung. Covered in dirt and looking completely homeless, he bowed respectfully. My name is Chung Myung. He raised his head confidently. And I would like to join the Mount Hua Sect.